Shauna, if you could make the world a better place with a snap of your finger, what would you do?
Like a humanitarian wish?
Yeah.
I think I would end war and violence. Oh, and get equal rights for women worldwide.
Those are definitely important.
What about you, Trenton?
I think I would end homelessness.
That's a good one. Living in Los Angeles, homelessness is an issue I see every day, everywhere.
Same. I know a snap of the finger won't solve this problem, but there's got to be something we can do.
I think we should investigate this issue more.
You think what I'm thinking?
Yep. Let's now head to Oscar for this week's edition of NexGen Investigates.
Hey NexGen viewers, Oscar here for an important edition of NexGen Investigates. Today we're investigating homelessness in Los Angeles, but also across the country. Unfortunately, this is a huge problem nationwide. When talking about homelessness, it's important to know that the proper terminology to use is people who are at risk of homelessness or who are experiencing homelessness, meaning individuals or families who do not have a permanent home or residence. Statistics about people experiencing homelessness are staggering. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, in 2019, approximately 567,000 people experienced homelessness. In a single night, it is estimated that 17 in every 10,000 people in the U.S. experience homelessness. And these numbers are probably low, given data is difficult to track for this population. The states with the highest numbers of unhoused individuals are New York and California. In 2019, New York had about 92,000 people experience homelessness, and California had over 151,000 people. New York may have the second highest rate of people experiencing homelessness in the country, but New York is very unique in how it assists these individuals and families in need. And the 1979 court case, Callahan v. Carey, is to thank for that. Callahan v. Carey was a class action suit by advocates for the unhoused. In this case, the New York County Supreme Court ruled that New York must provide shelter for unhoused individuals. To this day, you won't see many tents on the sidewalks in New York City. That's because the city is responsible for sheltering anyone experiencing homelessness. In 2019, New York City spent about $3.2 billion to house people experiencing homelessness and contracted about 70 nonprofit groups that run shelters in the city. This housing system is not cheap nor perfect. These shelters are overrun and overcrowded and require individuals to wait in line for hours to get a bed. But New York City does have a statewide system in place. California, on the other hand, does not. In California, there are more people experiencing homelessness than any other state, and the COVID-19 pandemic only increased the unhoused epidemic in California. Unlike New York, many of these individuals are not in shelters. In major cities such as San Francisco and Los Angeles, there has been a huge increase in tents lining the streets. Some people even named these areas tent cities. In Los Angeles, California, areas such as Skid Row near downtown have streets full of tents. And in Venice Beach, tents are lined up like dominoes. At Echo Park Lake, in another part of Los Angeles, police recently led a raid to remove all tents from a homelessness encampment in the area and offer temporary housing elsewhere. This raid was met with protests from locals. You may be asking yourself, why would they protest free housing? Well, a lot of it depends on the type of housing. Temporary housing, as the name implies, is a temporary or non-permanent solution. Many people experiencing homelessness would rather continue living on their own than move to temporary housing and be back on the streets again soon. But it is a good question. Do people experiencing homelessness want shelter? Let's now hear from Dr. Coley King, Director of Homeless Healthcare at Venice Family Clinic.
There is a common perception that people don't want housing, and I believe for the most part that's absolutely not true. That they may not be ready for the form of housing that has been presented to them at that point, but with addressing their needs, with meeting them in street medicine, with meeting their mental health needs, meeting their addiction needs, people can be ready for housing, and I think most of the individuals out here do want to be indoors and And when they are ready, we can move them into a much safer situation.
Dr. Coley King is right. Shuffling people around between temporary housing is not working. So what can be done to solve this homelessness crisis? Well, housing is certainly part of the puzzle, but it's just one piece. To solve this problem, there needs to be a coordinated approach. That includes housing, but also programs and services that rehabilitate people and get them back on their feet. This can include things such as food, access to free mental and physical health care, career services to help individuals train for and get a sustainable job, and education services. So what can you do? The best way to support people experiencing homelessness is to get involved with an organization. That is part of their support network. Here in Los Angeles, my favorite organization, the Midnight Mission, is a comprehensive homeless shelter and homeless services provider. I look forward to volunteering there this summer. Now it's your turn. Do some research to find an organization in your community that is working to end homelessness. See how you can get involved. For now, I'm Oscar, and thanks for tuning in to the special report of NexGen Investigates.